You weren't supposed to hear this. The next great gold vault might not be in Switzerland, New York, or Shanghai. It could be orbiting above your head, beyond the reach of governments, hackers, or invading armies. And if that sounds insane, ask yourself why central banks are suddenly obsessed with space infrastructure while quietly buying more gold than they have in decades. Something is shifting. And the people at the top are positioning before the rest of the world even realizes the game has changed. If you want real financial truths they don't teach, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming. Because what I'm about to explain isn't theory. It's pattern recognition. It's how power protects itself when the system starts to crack. Right now, currencies are being diluted in slow motion. Inflation isn't an accident. It's a pressure release valve. Governments print, markets pump. The public cheers rising asset prices while their purchasing power quietly evaporates. This is how silent wealth transfers happen, not with explosions, with policy meetings and polished press conferences, but here's the part. No one says out loud. When trust in currency declines, real power consolidates into assets that can't be printed. Gold, energy, scarce digital networks, and whoever controls the storage controls the leverage. Central banks understand something retail investors don't. The next crisis won't just be financial. It will be geopolitical, cyber, and orbital. Physical gold sitting in underground vaults is secure until it isn't. Sanctions freeze access. Political shifts rewrite ownership. War redraws borders. If a nation stores gold in space, on secure orbital platforms integrated with satellite defense systems, it creates a vault outside traditional jurisdiction. Untouchable, neutral, invisible to mobs, and insulated from regime change. That's not science fiction. That's strategic insulation. Think about liquidity cycles. Every major crash follows the same psychological rhythm. Euphoria, leverage, narrative reinforcement, then fear, forced selling, liquidation cascades, the public panics at the bottom while institutions accumulate in silence. We saw it in 2008, we saw it in 2020, we saw it in crypto winters when whales absorbed coins from terrified holders. The herd reacts emotionally. The disciplined accumulate structurally. Now imagine a future liquidity crisis so large that confidence in sovereign debt itself wobbles. Where does capital run? To assets outside political gravity. Crypto already proved the concept of borderless value, but crypto is transparent, trackable, vulnerable to regulation narratives. Gold in space would combine ancient trust with futuristic control. A hybrid signal. It would tell the world, this nation plans to survive whatever reset is coming, and resets always come. Currency regimes don't last forever. They decay. They get repriced. They get replaced. The media frames it as reform. Insiders treat it as opportunity. Here's where it gets darker. Media narratives condition you to focus on surface volatility. Stock rallies, rate cuts, Bitcoin spikes. You feel fear when markets drop. You feel greed when charts go vertical. That emotional oscillation is the real battlefield. Because while you're reacting, institutions are reallocating. They don't chase headlines. They engineer them. Liquidity injections create relief rallies. Retail jumps back in. Then liquidity gets pulled. The trap closes. This is how capital rotates upward. This is how insiders exit near peaks and re-enter near bottoms. Now add space to the equation. Governments are investing billions into satellite networks, reusable rockets, and orbital logistics. Publicly, it's about innovation. Privately, it's about redundancy. Financial redundancy. If terrestrial systems fail, cyber attacks, grid collapses, sovereign defaults, an orbital reserve could act as the ultimate collateral. A new anchor for a digital currency backed by off-world gold reserves. Imagine a central bank digital currency partially collateralized by metal stored beyond Earth's legal disputes. That narrative alone would reshape global power dynamics. The twist is this: they don't need to move all the gold, just enough to signal capability. Markets trade on perception. If investors believe a nation has secured its reserves beyond conventional risk, capital flows follow. Bond yields adjust. Currency strength recalibrates. That's asset repricing at a geopolitical scale. And by the time the public debates whether it's practical, the positioning is already done. Crypto whales understand signaling too. When large wallets move coins off exchanges, price eventually responds. It's accumulation before breakout. Central banks buying gold at record pace is the same signal. They're front-running instability. They're preparing for a scenario where trust fractures. And trust is the invisible glue of every financial system. Ask yourself why fear spikes before every major policy shift. Why media cycles amplify panic or euphoria exactly when liquidity is thinnest. Emotional investors are easier to steer. Fear makes you sell strength too early. Greed makes you buy weakness too late. Meanwhile, disciplined capital waits, calculates, executes. If space becomes the new vault, it won't be announced with fireworks. It will be revealed through budget lines, satellite launches, and strategic partnerships. Quiet moves, loud consequences. The shocking realization isn't that gold might be stored in space. It's that the architecture of money is already being redesigned while most people argue about price charts. The battlefield isn't just markets, it's perception, it's confidence, it's who believes in what when the next reset hits. And when that moment comes, assets anchored outside political turmoil could become the ultimate bargaining chip. Here's the elite lesson. Real wealth isn't about chasing returns. It's about anticipating structural shifts before they're obvious. It's about owning what power will need, not what the crowd currently loves. The emotional lose, the disciplined win, always. If central banks are preparing for off-world reserves, the signal is simple. The guardians of currency don't fully trust the ground beneath them. So what does that tell you about the stability of the system you're told is permanent? We're entering an era where money, psychology, and space collide, where value may orbit above governments, where silent accumulation defines the winners. This isn't about paranoia. It's about pattern recognition. If gold leaves Earth, it won't just be metal moving. It will be a message. Are you positioning with the herd or thinking like the architects? Tell me in the comments, if nations start storing gold in space, does that make you feel safer or more suspicious? Send this to someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to stay ahead of the financial shifts most people won't see coming, subscribe now. The next reset won't warn you.